In the winter of 1439, the small French town of Soissons, nestled along the banks of the Aisne River, found itself under siege, not by invading armies, but by a far more primal force. The surrounding forests of the region had always been home to wolves, but that year, the harsh winter brought them closer to human settlements in search of food. What started as sporadic sightings soon escalated into a terrifying series of attacks. The townspeople whispered of a pack of unusually bold and cunning wolves, creatures that seemed to have no fear of humans. These were not ordinary predators, they were hunters of men.
The terror began with isolated incidents. A shepherd, tending his flock near the forest's edge, was found dead, his body mauled and partially devoured. Shortly after, a young child vanished while playing near the outskirts of town, only for villagers to find signs of a struggle and wolf tracks leading back into the woods. As the attacks continued, the wolves grew bolder, venturing into the town itself under the cover of darkness. Livestock were slaughtered, and more villagers fell victim to the pack's relentless hunger. Panic gripped Soissons as families barred their doors and refused to venture out after sunset, fearing the wolves that lurked in the shadows.
The pack of wolves that terrorized Soissons was unlike any the townspeople had encountered. These wolves were larger, more aggressive, and seemed to possess an unsettling intelligence. They coordinated their attacks with precision, striking when villagers were most vulnerable. Some survivors claimed the wolves had glowing eyes that seemed to pierce through the darkness, and others swore they heard eerie howls that sent shivers down their spines. Legends began to spread, with some believing the wolves were cursed or possessed by malevolent spirits. Whether supernatural or not, one thing was certain: these predators were a force to be reckoned with.
The town's leaders, desperate to end the carnage, called upon skilled hunters from the surrounding region. Armed with bows, spears, and crude firearms, the hunters organized patrols and laid traps near the forest's edge, but the wolves proved elusive, vanishing into the dense woods whenever the hunters approached. Despite their best efforts, the hunters struggled to track the predators as the wolves seemed to anticipate their every move. Frustration grew, and the people of Soissons began to despair, fearing that the wolves would never be stopped. The hunters knew they were not just fighting for their lives, they were fighting for the survival of the entire town.
After weeks of relentless pursuit, the hunters finally managed to corner the pack in a remote part of the forest. What followed was a brutal and chaotic battle, as the wolves, sensing their impending doom, launched a ferocious counterattack. The air was filled with the sounds of snarls, shouts, and the clash of weapons against the wolves' powerful jaws. One by one, the hunters managed to bring down the beasts, but not without suffering injuries themselves. The largest wolf, believed to be the pack's leader, was a formidable opponent, taking multiple strikes before it finally fell. By the end of the battle, the pack had been defeated, and the town of Soissons could finally breathe a sigh of relief.
With the death of the wolves, peace slowly returned to Soissons. The townspeople emerged from their homes, grateful to the hunters who had risked their lives to protect them. Yet, the memory of the wolves lingered, leaving an indelible mark on the community. Families mourned the lives lost, and the forests, once a source of livelihood, became a place of fear and caution. The tale of the wolves of Soissons was passed down through generations, growing into legend. Some believed the wolves were a punishment for the town's sins, while others saw them as a reminder of humanity's fragile place in the natural world.
The wolves of Soissons became a symbol of the dangers that lurk beyond civilization's borders. The story was retold in taverns and around hearths, evolving with each generation. For the people of Soissons, the wolves were not just a memory of a harrowing winter. They were a cautionary tale about the thin line between humanity and the wild. Even today, the legend of the wolves of Soissons serves as a chilling reminder of a time when nature's predators could strike fear into the hearts of entire communities.
Historians and folklorists have long debated the true nature of the wolves of Soissons. Were they simply a pack of starving predators driven to desperation by a harsh winter? Or was there something more extraordinary about their behavior? Some have suggested that the wolves' intelligence and boldness were the result of environmental pressures, while others believe the tales were embellished over time, adding a supernatural element to the story. Whatever the truth, the legend of the wolves of Soissons continues to captivate and haunt, a testament to the enduring power of folklore and the primal fear of the wild.